Ah, yes, the vampire. Mobius told me you would come.
With the demented dollmaker Elvizir dead, and Ottmar's daughter's avatar, a doll carrying her soul in hand, we depart the icy fortress of the deceased toymaker, making haste via flight to Ottmar's castle in Willendorf. We sense our time before the Nemesis claiming Nosgoth draws near.
I entered the court with the dollmaker's head in one hand and the doll containing the girl's soul in the other. I placed them both before the king and watched his eyes catch fire. With the doll in their possession, the court's sorcerers could restore his daughter's soul.
I do not know that I can thank you enough, warrior. My kingdom is but a small price to pay for my daughter's life. Willendorf is yours, if you wish it.
'Tis not your kingdom I desire, but your army, Ottmar. I require troops to vanquish the horde that descends upon us from the north.
Very well. Courtiers, fetch me my armor and mace. There is war to be waged!
The scourge of Nosgoth is upon us, friends. We shall die today as heroes, lest we live tomorrow as slaves. Ready thine arms! For Nosgoth!
In the distance I saw the Nemesis armies march forward, a black tide that would soon wash over the armies of the Hope.
Although the Army of Hope would win smaller skirmishes thanks in part to their morale being bolstered by the renewed vigour of their king, they were, for all accounts, vastly outnumbered. However, we only need to kill one of their ranks, being that of the Nemesis, and so we slip between smaller brawls, attacking only where we deem fit.
They came at me in throngs, no fervour as strong as that inspired by a madman. The Nemesis armies were fierce and showed no signs of subsiding.
Spearheading the fight, we find, was King Ottmar. Without a helm, his proud bald head glistens with sweat as he fights off his demonic assailants. Age, it seems, hasn't slowed him down in battle, but the odds are stacked heavily against him. Although we aid the army where we can, the battle quickly devolves into a free-for-all, and our need for blood begins to overwhelm.
I sated my thirst on warriors of Horde and Hope alike, the dying relinquishing their final moments to give me strength.
As we turn to our new ally, we see Ottmar rushed by two of the Nemesis warriors.
The Nemesis and his horde fall upon us, my friend. I fear I can defend Nosgoth no longer. The Nemesis must be destroyed. For my daughter Kain. For the world.
The tide turned with Ottmar's death. I watched as the remaining survivors of the armies of Hope fled to the safety of the forest. The battle had decided its victor. The fate of Nosgoth now lay in the Nemesis' hands.
With the war all but lost, we make a break north to a nearby tower, our objective standing. Stepping over the sea of fallen warriors, it is clear Hope is dead, and so is its army. In its wake, a sea of the nefarious Nemesis begins to swarm, almost coalescing in a cloud, threatening to swallow us entirely. We attempt to sprint towards shelter, passing two crucified soldiers. As we climb to the tower's entrance, we then hear a wholly unfamiliar sound, a slight click, as the time stream device activated itself on our person.
At once the battlefield was gone. Where the ground was caked with blood and dirt, there was lush greenery. Where chaos reigned only moments before, this damning calm prevailed. Alas, it seemed I was stranded here. The time-streaming device lay in pieces at my feet.
Exploring our unfamiliar setting, we're interrupted by an errant guard who falls easily enough. However, when we drink his blood, we're also gifted a strange vision of his memories and the time streamer's sermon therein.
Would you stand idle as vermin destroy your crops? No! Has your house burned? No! Will you allow this evil to continue? No! Will the wickedness end? Yes! Do you believe? Yes! Then take me to your king, so that I can prepare you for the onslaught.
Knowing now it was Mobius who orchestrated the rise of the Nemesis, we make our way north on a quest to hunt down William, this time without his army on our heels. We soon see the town of Stahlberg intact, and beyond to the north, an unfinished statue of William. Everything suddenly becomes clear, and we comment.
Ah, so it seemed I was in the land of William the Just. 50 years before the battle I had just escaped would take place.
Further north up the path, we find the young king's citadel, still heavily guarded by his demonically armored soldiers, but not entirely impregnable.
The stronghold of William the Just. 'Twas time for me to pay a visit to he who would become the Nemesis and force Nosgoth on its knees.
Drinking deep from the crimson soldiers, we enter William's fortress. Finding a formidable force intact, giddy with the anticipation that we may still confront a young William, catching him unaware.
Victus!
We cast Repel on ourselves as to step past his forces, who attack with their crude weapons in vain, finding the king, unfortunately, and the time streamer mid-conversation below.
Yes, these weapons you have provided will see to that. Pray tell, Mobius, what game do you play?
None, my lord. I only wish to aid you in vanquishing your foes. The weapons are but a token of my goodwill.
And the news you bring, a vampire said to slay me? Where did you come upon such knowledge?
'Tis of no consequence, sire. 'Twas only out of concern for your majesty's life.
Perhaps. Very well, then. You may leave me now, but should I wish to speak to you...
I will know, your majesty, and I shall be there in time.
Curious, we see William gifted a younger incarnation of the very Soul Reaver we carry, a parting gift from Mobius. A devastating revelation, to be sure. In the northern tip of the tower, we're then rushed by William's remaining forces, finding a floor that mimics the viewing chamber we saw high above Nosgoth, this time with a map painted on the ground, and swords stuck in several key locations, denoting a vast war room and the beginnings of the Boy King's efforts of expansion and conquest. In the final room above, William knowingly greets us, thanks to Mobius's treachery welcoming.
Ah, yes, the vampire. Mobius told me you would come.
With the king's personal guard set to envelop us, we sidestep them and his devastating blade, using a Pentalich of Tarot to destroy his minions. It's then we're left alone for a final duel with the man who promises to destroy the soul of Nosgoth. We find in his youth that William is strong in will, as with his sword arm. However, he hasn't had the time to become accustomed to the nuance and demands of the Reaver. As such, we safely stand behind the Repel Stele, warding off the Reaver's desire to drink deeply from our soul as it thirstily drains William's own energy stores. We unleash the power of the Reaver, hefting it in a cataclysmic blow.
As his guards rushed to save him, William the Just's blood was already renewing my strength, replacing the life his sword had stolen from my veins. The poor fools, come to aid their fallen leader. Let us have some amusement.